up, everybody? Axe Wizard here. Good. All right. So I participated in another game jam, the Godot Wild Jam. This was the 81st. So the main theme was expedition. Okay, I can work with that. Wild cards. Are we the baddies? The player is the villain or the antagonist. Okay, that's cool. Next wild card is side effects includes. Items have both good and bad effects. Okay, I can work with that. And the last one is acapella. All audio is made with your mouth. I can work with that. So my entry is, let's go to submissions and view my submission. Stellar Deception. Yes, indeed. And I've gotten a little bit of feedback on it so far. 7 people have rated my game so far, which is nice. I won't know what the ratings are until, like, whatever. I don't know. I think the art style is going to throw some people off. But if we go look at the game, it was fun. I had my oldest do, like, all the art for it. He drew everything. And then I tried to make it work, and at the last minute, I kind of threw that parchment background in, like, everything. And because I was just blinded by, I was trying to do, like, white paper. I couldn't find a good seamless paper texture that I liked. I tried doing, like, grid paper, and it didn't look right. Just a blaring white background looked odd. I tried black and then inverting the colors to be white. In fact, let me see if I can bring up. So this is what I was going for, like, at the start. And this probably would have worked out better than this parchment thing, but I went with it. So, yeah. Anyway. Let's just play the game so you could experience the epicness. Come on.
In a galaxy where peace hangs by a thread. You are Captain Drubert Velashion Sriracha Cottage Filter Fuzzin Galapsy the 4th the 5th Esquire, freelancer of the stars.
We need someone discreet, someone who can deliver this package across disputed space.
A simple expedition, a sealed container, a generous payment.
This medical breakthrough could save billions of alien lives.
But as you venture deeper into the void...
Captain, we're under attack.
Not everyone wants your cargo to reach its destination.
Why are they so desperate to stop us?
Every stop, every choice has consequences.
Ship integrity at 40%, Captain.
The crew is losing faith.
We're almost out of credits.
What you're carrying could change the course of history. But as you approach the alien homeworld, a terrible truth emerges.
Are we the baddies?
Your expedition, your choices, your legacy. Coming right now, Stellar Deception.
So right away, my boys and I put that together. We wanted to do like a movie trailer kind of intro, and we decided to give the captain like a really long name. So I think his name is Drubert Velashion Sriracha Cottage Filter Fuzzin Galapsy the 4th the 5th Esquire. That's his name. So I moved my camera over to So you start and exit, super basic title screen. But this track is all voice. So what I did is I basically sampled me going, ah, and then I used GarageBand on my old MacBook, and I applied like the pitch correction auto-tune thing to it. And then I sampled it to my MIDI keyboard. And then so all the sounds are made with that aw sample. And then of course the drums are just me basically trying to beatbox. Let's just be trying to beatbox, right? So that was how we did it. So the game starts out. You're departing from a planet, right? You can click to shoot. You have a heavy cannon which shoots ahead of you, and you have a light cannon that shoots wherever your mouse is, which is what you see going on here. And you can collide with these asteroids, and you will take a little bit of damage. So every so often, random events will happen, and you'll basically pick what you want to do. So random event, your sensors alert you to the fact that there is a life form detected in space. You run a scan but find no ships and only one life form. What do? I can either investigate how is this possible, or I can ignore it and keep moving. I'm going to investigate. Oh, and you can see here we took a big hit to my crew. So we have like 3 resources here that we have to manage: ship, crew, and cash. And took a big hit to my crew. So what happened? You navigate to the source and find a single solitary person in a spacesuit slowly spinning in space. You give orders and conduct a rescue. Once the man is aboard your ship and has undergone pressurization procedures, he emerges from the suit and grins at you wearily. See, I got typos in there. My thanks, Captain. My name's Amo, but you could call me Gus. Got a spare bunk by any chance? I'm exhausted. You arrange for some quarters for him and resume your course. Later that evening, alarms sound as a crew member is found dead. You call all hands to mount a search and find this Amo Gus guy. Another typo, I forgot to put this in there. Find this Amo Gus guy when within minutes he is detained. After some questioning and testimony from some crew members, you determine this man was the killer, and there are 3 other crew who are still missing. You jettison him out to space without a suit this time. So that's just one event, but just because you get something where, oh, you detect this life form in space, doesn't mean it's always going to turn out this way. I tried to have, for most events, I tried to have 2 to 4 different options for most of them. Some of them I just didn't get to, I ran out of time, but yeah. So you can see we have to manage these. This little pointer here points to where our destination is. So this is our next location. Basically, you have to get to, oh, I'm just hitting asteroids all over the place. Basically, you have to get to the alien homeworld to deliver this package, right? And it takes several planets to get there. So, alarm clacks and sound. As you pull up the alert, you see a black hole dead ahead. What do? Order all hands to brace and charge into the hole, or order all hands to perform evasive action. So I am going to try to do evasive action. And you can see I took a big hit to my ship. You panic, ordering crew to perform evasive action. You turn your ship and fight against the pull. You disengage safety protocols and divert all power into your thrusters. You break away from the pull, but at a cost. Several systems are flashing red, and the crew are scrambling to contain fires. Your ship still flies, but you'd best take it easy until you can get into port and conduct repairs. So, sometimes things happen, right? Okay, so I'm gonna keep cruising here. Oh my god. These asteroids, man. So one bug I have with this on the web version, and I haven't figured it out yet, but sounds slowly degrade in volume the more you use them. So for example, every time I fire my weapon or every time there's an explosion, it gets quieter and quieter until you can't even hear it anymore. I don't know why. I haven't figured it out yet. But the deadline's passed, so I can't fix it for the submission. But maybe I think my oldest kind of wants to colorize all the art and stuff. So we might we might finish this game how we want it after the voting and after the jam has officially ended. But so we have another random event. As you're traveling to your destination, your scanners read an inert vessel nearby. There appear to be no signs of life, and there could be things you can salvage. What do? Attempt to search the derelict ship, or you've got a bad feeling, keep moving. I'm gonna search it. Boom, find some stuff. You order your crew to conduct a search and salvage operation. You listen tensely as the crew communicate their findings in real time. No survivors, many bodies savaged, and nothing was left behind. You order a final sweep, and the crew finds a stash of spare parts that could be useful. However, some things cannot be unseen, and it takes its toll on the crew. So you can see here, I gained plus 15 to my ship and minus 8 to my crew. So everything has like a, you know, a positive and a negative, right? Yeah. Okay, we're almost pulling up to this location. I don't know if I'm gonna get there for the next event. Get out of my way, asteroid. Here we go, I'm pulling up. Boom. So it kind of got bigger as you arrive at it. So now that we've arrived at a location, I wanted to have like choices that you can make while you're there. And every choice, of course, in the spirit of side effects includes, has positives and negatives. So you're constantly trying to balance these 3 bars. If any of these bars reach 0, you lose. If your hull, like your ship health, if that reaches 0 while you're traveling, you lose. You have to get to the 8th and final planet. So you land on Galerion 5, considered by many to be the epicenter of the human sciences, due not only to the diverse and rich environs of the planet itself, but also due to its close proximity to alien space. So what would you like to do while you're here? 3 choices remaining. So we got a bunch of different things. So you can read these if you want, or most people just kind of look at the ship crew cache to see what the effects are, to see what they want to balance out here. So if we look at, say, let's see, so we're really hurting on crew. So I want to find things that really boost my crew. So hey, here we go. We can hire more crew. You've got a great crew, but you've noticed more mistakes keep happening during routine procedures. When you look into it, you find that you've got a few in the crew that are doing multiple jobs. Might be time to bring on some more hands to join your crew. So plus 3 ship, plus 15 crew, minus 10 cash. I think that's a pretty good trade. So we're gonna do that. So we got our crew up a little bit at the cost of a little bit of cash. That's fine. That's why we have money. You wander over to the job boards. Many people are trying to get your attention, but you're focused on certain skill sets. After spending an hour scanning through all the holoplates, you find some likely candidates and conduct impromptu interviews. You find a few who think you will mesh well with the crew and hire them, and they eagerly accompany you back to your ship. Bam, we got more crew, baby! So our crew is still the most affected. So let's do this one. Crew medical checkups gives us 20 crew. So that's awesome. The port has a reputable medical facility where your crew can receive comprehensive health screenings and treatments for any developing conditions. Awesome, let's do that. And the result, a little bit of cash, but we got our crew back up. Your crew undergoes thorough medical examinations. Several minor health issues are caught early and treated, and everyone receives updated vaccinations against common space-borne illnesses. The crew returns to the ship feeling relieved. Relieved that they're done with all the shots and the exams, and relieved that they're more protected. Awesome. So now our cash is kind of hurting. So what can we do to earn some cash? We can do quick gigs. I'm gonna do that one, but let's see. Do we have anything else here? I don't know. I kind of want to do black market upgrades because I think that this gives this also has like a hidden effect that gives you more hull armor. So your ship can last longer while you're traveling. I didn't have a clean way to put that in the description. But I'm gonna do quick gigs. You keep your crew around for a reason. They possess diverse skill sets, they're talented, and they're worth every credit. You can contract them out temporarily for quick odd jobs to earn some income in a pinch. Let's do that. So we lost a little bit of crew, but we gained some money. As the assigned crew members report back in, your credit balance has noticeably improved. However, you notice that one of your crew is still missing. Just as you're about to ask where they are, you receive a comm link explaining that they were made an offer they can't refuse and had resigned. Damn poachers. Job poachers, man. So now, once you've made your choices, you get to select your next destination. Now, originally I had plans to have like a distance and also danger level here, but I ran out of time. I didn't have a way to determine what the danger level was gonna be. And to be honest, the danger is kind of determined by the random events. So that idea that I had early on wasn't feasible the more I developed it and I dropped it. So there's distance, close, and average. So if you are, you know, if you leave a planet and your bars are mostly full, you could probably go out to average or far distance and be fine. But if you're really hurting, try to choose the closest distance. So, but for this one, I'm going to go to Truncord Station. This space station broadcasts crypto packets to all the fringe worlds and also encodes and decodes alien-bound communication traffic. Distance average. Let's do it. So now you can see we got to go up over here about northwest-ish. And we got 60,000 some odd. I don't know what unit of measurement to pick for like space, so I just chose N. And I don't know what N is, but it seemed like it would fit. Alarm klaxon sound. As you pull up, you see a black hole dead ahead. What do you do? Well, I'm gonna order all hands to brace and charge into the hole this time. So I did that. A quick glance through the instrumentation gauges and you already know you're caught in it. You decide the best hope is to try to punch through. You engage full thruster and brace, and nothing seems to happen. The alarms stop, and as you once again look to your instrumentation gauges, they're returning to normal levels. Your navigation seems a bit weird, however. You're not sure if it's pointing you in the right direction anymore, but your ship is undamaged. So, ship plus 10. I don't remember why I gave the ship plus 10. And cash. I think that was a typo. I think I was supposed to give crew, but a little bit of copy paste, you know what I'm saying? So, and also, that's supposed to teleport you. It's supposed to put you like in a random place around your destination. And I had it working, and now it seems to only work 10% of the time. And I think it has to do with how I'm handling the signals, and the game is paused during this event screen. So I think I kind of broke it, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Anyway, random event. A crew member reports an unexpected stowaway hiding among your supplies. He begs you, "Please, Your Honor, I was desperate to escape. I can work if that will suffice as payment." What will you do? You can detain the man to be turned into the port authorities when you next dock, or you can allow him to work off your package. Or passage. Work off your package. That sounds naughty. I'm gonna be a nice guy and allow him to work off his passage. Yeah. You relent and allow him to work. Unfortunately, he has no skills. After wasting some of the crew's time, they eventually just task him with cleaning, and he fails to even do that correctly. So ship -2, because the crew were like distracted trying to teach this fool something, and then of course the crew were not happy with him. So yeah, kind of a bad gig there. So we're about a quarter of the way to our destination. We're probably gonna have at least, I would say, 6 more events by the time we get there, depending on how many frickin' asteroids I gotta bump into here. Oh my god, my hull's already pretty damaged. Random event. As you're traveling to your destination, your scanners read an inert vessel nearby. There appears to be no signs of life, and there could be things you could salvage. What do you do? Well, at this point, my ship is pretty good. Crew is in cash. I'm gonna search it. You order your crew to conduct a search, and they find starving survivors. Their navigation system apparently crashed during an update, and their ship wasn't able to do. Another typo. Wasn't, not was, is what I meant to put there. Wasn't able to do anything except sustain life support. Their captain asks you to help the survivors, and you agree. He pays you what credits he has left, and points out a few survivors that would be useful crew members, and then he returns to his ship. The captain goes down with his ship. I've got nothing left. Take care of them. You resume course with a melancholic sigh. So I got plus 15 crew and plus 20 cash. So things are looking good. Kind of bummer about that captain guy though, but hey, he made his choice. Freaking asteroids are brutal, man. So some of the choices you can make and some of the events that happen will get you more weapons, and you can eventually just be a complete powerhouse and just have tons of guns. Random event. Your console receives a distress signal from what appears to be an ancient automated satellite. What do? Investigate the signal. Why would an old satellite be in distress? Or you can ignore the old satellite. It's probably just malfunctioning. I'm going to investigate the signal. As you approach, it begins broadcasting increasingly erratic messages, suggesting its AI has developed unusual behavior after centuries of isolation. As you prepare to leave, alarm klaxons sound. Enemy ship inbound. Okay. So we took -10 ship here, and now there's a ship attacking us. So I think... Oh god, I'm actually gonna run from him. Because I could probably take him out with my light cannon if I dodge. Where'd he go? He's okay, so he's over there somewhere. Come on, buddy. You know you want it. Where are you at? Oh, he's over here now. Oh god. Get wrecked, idiot. Boom. You've disabled your attacker. You run scans on the disabled ship, and there are still signs of life. What do? I'm gonna board and loot the ship. Boom. So I got +5 ship, -5 crew, +5 cash. You order the crew to board and salvage whatever they can find, and quickly. They are met with some scattered resistance, and some of your crew are wounded, but they make short work of the surviving combatants and quickly loot the vessel. While the boarders were looting, engineers worked to repair some of the immediate damage on your ship. When asked about what to do about the survivors, you ordered them left aboard the ship with some food. That's all the mercy that you can afford in the endless void of space. So another benefit of this, engineers work to repair some of the immediate damage on your ship. So you actually gain a little bit of hull, but I didn't fire the signal, so it doesn't show until you take damage. So it doesn't repair all of it, just a little bit of it. So if I go bump into an asteroid here, bam, you can see that my hull just went up a little bit more. So it repairs like 40 hull integrity, and you start with 100. So it's like 40% of your base, basically. All right, your sensors detect an alien vessel nearby. It either hasn't noticed you yet, or isn't bothered by your presence. I can't talk. Before the peace, you're pretty sure this ship would already be running you down. What do? Hail the vessel? Perhaps there's an opportunity here? Or keep moving and leave it be. You'd rather not inadvertently cause an intergalactic incident. I'm gonna hail the vessel. So after a few moments, you receive a semi-encrypted response to your hail. A few moments later, and your console displays the decrypted and translated message. You carry evil. Dispose of it or be destroyed. What does this mean? What are they talking about? Is it the sealed container you carry? You order the crew to battle stations. Another hail comes in and is decrypted, but not translated. You will get wrecked. You're not sure what it means, but the alarm klaxons translate well enough for you. So now I have an alien ship attacking me, and I am not going to tussle with this guy because he's got two cannons, and I think he's got more health. But I can outrun him. So if I don't get hit by too many freaking asteroids here. So I'm going to keep blasting ahead of me here. Your sensors are no longer reading a threat from the enemy ship. What do? Resume course resume course to your destination, or you can turn about and re-engage the enemy. I'm going to keep going. I don't want to fight that guy. So my crew are pretty happy about it. You set a course and resume your expedition. The crew celebrates when you give the all clear. Continue. Bam. I'm just getting demolished. I might not even make it. Come on. These freaking asteroids that just sideswipe you out of nowhere, those are the worst. Oh, man, if only this game developer actually made these asteroids not so damn annoying. Okay, I'm being bounced everywhere. A distress beacon alert blips on your console. You attempt to establish communications, however, there is no response. What do? Divert course towards the beacon to render aid, or maintain course and ignore it. It's not your problem. As of right now, because my hull is so low and I'm so close to my destination, I'm going to maintain course and ignore it. Not my problem. Sir, what if someone really needed help? One of the crew asks you. What if it's a trap and then we're the ones who need help? You respond wryly. You've got enough to worry about right now, but some of the crew aren't happy with your decision. So -5 crew. Okay, I just a little farther. Come on, keep on trucking. Keep on. There we go. There's the space station. Big ass space station, right? So Trunkord station. This space station, yeah, we already read that before. So now 3 choices. So my ship is the lowest right now. So I could upgrade my ship armor. Take a trip to the outfitters to have them install some additional armor plating on your ship. I'm gonna do that. There we go, boom. The outfitters install additional plating without any issues. Your ship looks ready for anything, and your crew feel a bit safer. So I got some ships, some crew at the cost of cash, which is fine. So let's see, what else do we got? So everything, I'm pretty good now. So massage chairs. Install massage chairs in the crew quarters. According to the advertisement, this is supposed to provide more quality off time, boost morale, and make the crew more effective. I'm gonna do that. Even though my crew is gonna be maxed now, that's fine. The crew is elated as they install their new chairs. However, they were bigger than you were led to believe, and you've had to shift some things around to make it work, which throws off the normal routines a bit. So your ship goes down a little bit, and of course your cash goes down because you just bought a bunch of massage chairs for your crew because you're a dope-ass captain, and that's awesome. So we're running low on cash, but I can do some rigged gambling. A vice of both the obscenely wealthy and the destitute poor. There is no shortage of various games and sports in which people may place bets. And you overheard from a credible source that it's rigged, and who to bet on. Rigged gambling, let's do it, boom. Your source of the tip remains credible as ever. Part of you wishes you would have bet more, but if you had lost, you would have lost everything, including your ship. The crew shake their heads at you, and you suddenly feel hypocritical as you had banned them from gambling. At least you can pay them now. But now we get to pick our next place. So this is basically the game until you reach the end. So there's just constantly choices, and I find it's immersive. Even for me who programmed the damn thing, and I wrote all this shit. Not just me, the boys also helped. They gave me lots of cool ideas. Like that very first event we had, which was like this Among Us joke, you know? How you had this guy drifting in space, you rescue him and he starts murdering your crew. He's the imposter. So my youngest gave me that one. But yeah, that's the gist of the game. And it turned out really well. Is it perfect? No, there are some bugs that happen. So known bugs, sounds degrade over time. I haven't fixed that yet, but it only happens on the web export. When I play it normally on the computer, just in my editor, it runs fine. So I don't know what that is. If the game opens in a separate window, the intro cutscene starts playing, but the intro sound doesn't start until you click the window, and then it's out of sync. So the audio doesn't match up with the cutscene visuals. And that's probably just something simple, but I ran out of time. I didn't fix that one. There's some choppy performance, especially only on the web export. And I'm not quite sure what's the cause of it. I don't think I was doing anything too obscenely strenuous. The only thing I could think of is maybe it's all the physics objects, but I don't know if that's it or not. And then black hole event doesn't teleport you. There was a problem with my asteroid spawner. I fixed that. I fixed that logic before the deadline. There was a crash freeze. I fixed that as well. And then sometimes when you defeat a ship, multiple victory events happen. So yeah, that's the game. I also have the source code on my GitHub as a public repository. So if you wanted to see how I threw this random ass game together, you can pull this down to your computer, run it in your own engine here. So if I pop open Godot and go to Godot Wild Jam 81, this is the game. Woohoo! Look at that, bam. So this is all sorts of like all the events that I have going on here. Here's all the choices. Here's the data about the locations. And yeah, so what did I learn from this game jam? Because the cool thing about game jams is it challenges you to make something you probably wouldn't normally make. And because of those constraints, you have to think outside the box of what you would normally do, and you end up learning more things. So what are some things I learned? Well, in Godot 4, there's this remap function, which is kind of like lerp, which allows me to sort of like translate. So like I used it to kind of translate distance. Like, so what I mean is, say for example, I want to translate something to another value. So in the case I used it with my location, like the actual planets and space stations, when you're coming close to them, they start out at about like 30% scale. And then as you get closer to them, they get bigger. Now, how do I calculate that? Well, the range in which I want them to get bigger or smaller is between about 150 pixels to about 800 pixels. So between that range, I want it to go from about 30% scale to 100% scale. So that remap function allows me to specify what value I want to set this as, and then what the starting range is and what I should translate that to as like it'll do it. It's awesome. And I think lerp does something similar, but this remap function was kind of a little cleaner, I guess. So that was cool. Hadn't messed with that before. Another thing that I hadn't messed around before was with physics. So I haven't really messed with physics that much, because when I first picked up Godot, I was struggling to learn vector math. And I once I got a pretty good grasp on that, I had already made like a game when I was working on it. So I have my devlog series, which is boldly called I Make a Game Start to Finish, and I haven't finished it yet. So I haven't given up on it yet. I've just been taking a break. So in my ship, I made it as a rigid body 2D, which is a physics object, and I've never messed with that before. And if we look at like the script, it has a few differences. So for example, I'm not doing too much in the process event like I normally would be. I'm doing this integrate forces event, and I copied this from the documentation and put it as a comment so that I could refer back to it as I'm like figuring stuff out. And so first of all, I had to set like there's a whole lot of gravity or physics objects physics properties over here. And like, so I set gravity to be 0. I spent an hour trying to figure out why my asteroids I spent an hour trying to figure out why the hell my enemy ship's movement wasn't working. And it was because I had the gravity on. So no matter what my calculations were, it was still just falling off the screen. So forgot to turn the gravity off on it. And yeah, so there's a whole bunch of physics stuff. And rather than directly moving your ship, you are applying forces to this physics object, and that's how you move it. And that was a kind of a learning curve for me. I didn't quite get that. Had to watch a few tutorials, work it out with the documentation, and then I made it work. So yeah, I got that going. So there's like apply torque. That's how you turn it. And for some reason, torque power has to be insane. So for example, like thrust power, 150, max speed, 600, torque power, 10,000. That's what it had to be to just rotate my ship how I wanted it to be. Seemed excessive, but I don't know how it measures the torque. I don't know. I was just throwing numbers at it, trying to get it to work. And eventually something worked. So yeah. And then we're applying the central force. That's how we're moving it. And yeah. And it's tracked in this thing called linear velocity, which was cool. So I got that working, and then it's able to collide with asteroids and stuff like that. And I was able to calculate like the collision damage off of it, which was cool. So yeah, that was fun. Learning how to do kind of basic physics. I had never done it before. That was cool. Another thing I'd never messed with was the animation player. I had never messed with that before, and I thought that was cool. So that intro cutscene I threw together with. I'm gonna turn this off because I'm just gonna hide it. I can't hide it. Okay, whatever. So for the animation player, basically it has this map, and you can add these tracks to it, and you can key these changes on your timeline. So for example, as it starts out, I want to fade in my little, in a age of peace or whatever, peace hangs by a thread. I want to put that picture of like peace hanging by a thread. I want to have that fade in. And then once it's done, I want to have it fade out. But I also want it to slowly get bigger. So I'm going to have it like zoom in. And then I also want to change like the position of it a little bit so I can zoom in on a certain spot. So I've keyed those 3 properties, and I'm just putting those on this timeline. And so as we're going through this, it's like it's playing different images and sounds. Oh, it was doing sounds. I have the sounds just set to be autoplay now. Yeah. So pretty cool. I think that's awesome. I had never messed with that before. It wasn't too hard to figure out, but I love it. It's cool. I'm going to use it a lot more for a bunch of other stuff. I'll tell you that. This is awesome. So that was cool. I had never done that before. And also this time I decided to change up my coding style a little bit. Typically when I would do stuff in Godot, Godot likes to do like this snake case kind of thing where you have every word separated by an underscore. And I'd always like to do like Pascal case or camel case, where rather than adding that separator, you just capitalize the start of every word. Or in the case of camel case, you leave the first word lowercase and then you capitalize the first letter of the second, third, fourth, fifth word, whatever. And I like to do it that way because I was able to better distinguish what code I wrote versus what was a built-in thing that Godot gave me. So for example, like this ready function or this unhandled input function, right? I could tell that these were a built-in Godot thing. Whereas before, if I were just to write this, I would have probably called it like something else, as opposed to complete or whatnot. But so I did it like all my variable names are that way. Whereas if you look at, say, they pull up my other space game I'm working on, my devlog one. If we look at some of the stuff here, you can see like mouse area 2D scene. So there's no separators. This is camel case. So that's kind of how I did things before, showing UI instead of showing underscore UI, right? Just a little thing, right? But my code style is still the same. There's still a metric shit ton of comments, some of which are probably superfluous and they don't need to be there. But I like to put what I'm thinking as I am doing things. So even just something like destination reached. What is this signal? Oh, it's used by our main script. Okay, cool. I know to look at my main script to see how the hell that's being used. I have comments everywhere. I think I put more comments in my code than most people probably like, but it helps me so much when I come back to a project. So for example, I'm starting to poke around on my old on my Neurality 3092 game. When I start poking around in there, I have that big comment thing in main that shows that it's kind of like my own change log of like what I was working on last. And on top of that, I can go through and I can see exactly what I was thinking whenever I coded something. So that's huge for me. But yeah, so that was a little small change, just kind of trying to do things in a more Godot style. Another change I did was I tried to use more signals than I normally would. So there's a lot of signals that I'm using. So like on my ship, there's 5 different signals here. Normally what I would do is, so this signal is used by our UI. So is this one. So is this one. And then these ones are used by main. So what I would normally do is most of the stuff I want on my UI is just going to be updated every frame anyway, usually. And so what I would do is rather than setting up a signal and then having it emit a signal from my ship and then having to connect that signal somewhere else and then having to use that, I would just get a reference to my ship. And then my UI would just check if that instance is valid and then just get the values directly from it and then update it as needed. That's what I would normally do. And I to be honest, I like that way better. But Godot wants you to call down and signal up. That's the way you should do things, right? Because it makes your code more robust. It makes your things more encapsulated and like standalone, modular, to where it's not dependent upon something else. So for example, I could run my UI without having to have the ship there, in theory, right? Whereas if I do it my way, if you can't find that ship, the values aren't going to update. But it's not going to update if you don't have the signals connected anyway. I don't know. I agree with the mentality of signals are better. I like just getting a reference to whatever the hell I want to do, and I just do things on there, right? That's how I like to do it. Especially for game jams, it's much quicker to just do that. But I was like, I'm going to do some signals. We're going to do signals. I'm going to do it the Godot way, or try to. And so I use a lot more signals than I would. So for example, for this hull changed, it's used by our UI. So when I go to main, and when it comes time to, let's say, new game here. So we're clearing our scene, we're adding a sound player, we're setting up we're reinitializing variables because it's our first time, new game. Adding a parallax background, setting our location, adding our player, second our destination, and then we're adding our HUD, our heads-up display, or our UI or whatever. And then what I'm doing is I'm connecting all the player signals to the methods that my HUD has to update hull, update speed, update test or destination direction. And then, so if we go to my HUD, I called it, now we have these functions here. These are all like setter functions. And then we have these external methods that you can call externally. Update speed, update hull, and update destination direction. What I would rather do is on this, I would just like basically on the ready function, I would just get the reference to the player. Now I can either have main pass that reference to it, or I can just add player to the group player, and then I can get that from, I can just get from group player. It'll be the only fucking thing in there. I can get that, and then now I have a reference to it. So rather than having to hook up signals, I can just go, hey, UI label text equals, hey, instead of new value, I can just get that value directly from the player if it exists. And you can do that by just running is instance valid beforehand. That way your game doesn't crash in the event that your player's dead or whatever, or you for some reason that node isn't there. So that's the way I prefer things. And I don't know, I don't like signals. And on top of that, some of the bugs I had, I think were due to the fact that a signal was trying to fire while the game was paused. And because they're sort of asynchronous, like they happen immediately, but I think they happen outside of like the main loop. So they happen asynchronously, which makes it unpredictable for me. So that could be I might just be blowing shit in my ass, to be honest, but that's how I felt. Anyway, so I tried to do more signals. So I did more signals. They're okay. I think I'll stick with my old way of doing it though, for now. But there are cases where signals are awesome. So yeah, I tried to do more signals. I also tried to use timer nodes more, as opposed to just setting my own variable and then incrementing it every step in process and then doing a check. So that was okay. And then tweens. I use tweens a lot more, which is cool. I like tweens. But yeah, so those were the challenges that I had. For the audio stuff, I don't know what's going on with the web export. I think from now on, I'm just going to go back to Godot 3.6 because it seems like everything is figured out there for 2D purposes pretty much. I think Godot 4 was trying to step it up for 3D, and they had, from my perspective, for a lot of things I used, they had a lot of regressions for 2D. And I don't know. I'm just going to stick with Godot 3.6 from now on. There are lots of cool things about Godot 4.4 or whatever I'm using now. 4.4.1.stable is what I'm using. But I don't know. Yeah, anyway. I've been yammering for 46 minutes. That's my experience. So I think probably next weekend after the game jam's over, my oldest and I are probably going to redo some of the art and polish up some of the events, add more stuff in it, and then I think I might just throw it on Steam for free, just for fun, just to see what it's like to release a game on Steam, because I'm kind of curious about it. So I think that's the goal, but I think it's fun. I think it could be a good standalone story. I mean, as it is right now, every time I play through it, it's a good 30 minutes to 45 minutes, which is the longest play time I've ever had for a game that I've made for a jam. Most games I make for a jam and most games I've played for jams are usually like 5 or 10 minutes, you know, sometimes up to 20 minutes. And keep in mind, play length is not indicative of like the quality of it. So for example, some things are rough with my game, but I think the random events and like the storytelling does a lot of the heavy lifting. I think my eldest's art does a lot of the heavy lifting, even though I butchered it with that parchment on everything. So, yeah. Anyway, just want to make a video about my experience with another game jam. Man, it was rough. One day I coded like 16 hours straight. It was nuts. I only got up to go to the bathroom and grab a snack or something. Axe Wizard? More like Snacks Wizard, am I right? Anyway, thanks so much for watching. I appreciate it. And I don't know. If I make another video at some point, I'll probably see you there. Maybe. I don't know. Thank you so much. Have a good one.